All right, so if you haven't been paying attention over to fdnsports.com, that's where Trevor and I write a lot of blogs. Silas hosts a Plastic Addicts podcast.
It's very cool over there.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. But I recently posted the winners and the losers of the 2022 offseason. And what I'm going to do here, because y'all haven't read my article, right?
Nope.
I'm guessing Trevor didn't either. He didn't respond.
I was
He's throwing
shaking
up.
my head.
Oh, I don't have you pulled up right now. I have my article pulled up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you a company.
Mm-hmm.
I have my answers written in the article. So I'm going to just give you a company, and you tell me if they're a winner, a loser, or there are a few companies that I put as neutral. So we're like, yeah, it didn't really win, didn't really lose.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to start
Okay.
off. This is alphabetical order. We're going to start off with DGA.
I could take a really woke stance on this whole thing and just say everybody that bought players is a loser because they're all going to run out of money.
Is that a woke
But I'm not going to do
stance?
that. I'm not going to do that. DGA, man, winner.
DGA, definitely a
Because
winner.
everybody forgot who they were, and now they're relevant again.
Yep. Completely agree.
I didn't forget who DGA was.
Unless they go
let me make that
bankrupt.
clear. Yeah, I didn't forget who DGA was, but I will say this. Nobody was really considering them like a top competitive brand on tour, and now they kind of have to be because they've got 2 top 10 players in the world, essentially.
Yeah. And
Here's a woke stance. I think Trevor is going to sell more steadies this year than Cat will.
that's just
Whoa.
not true.
Can we do a counter?
No, because how
Yeah,
do
you
we
can't measure
balance?
that.
How would you measure that?
We just asked DGA to tell us their financial numbers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
What's going to be interesting is like if DGA ever gets to the point where they need to sell.
It's ironic because I have shaky hands.
That is funny. So you're putting with the
maybe
steady.
this-
It's
the
to cancel
steady
it out.
maybe will steady them. Yeah.
That is funny. The joke I was about to say is like if DGA will ever get to a point where they need to sell discgolf.com to pay their player
Oh, that's
because they have
Maybe they already did.
discgolf.com.
Let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see how the Washington football team thing leaked?
Yeah.
The news chopper.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, a news chopper zoomed in on their outside of their stadium window and could see in the stadium through the window to their team store where the new name is.
What was the new name?
Wow, speak of the devil.
That's awesome.
What the heck? Literally, it just popped up on my phone, like the announcement. It's
Oh, they just made the
Commanders.
official announcement.
Yeah, it just popped up on my phone as I was
Just
telling
spoke
you
into
that.
existence. What? So it's the Commanders,
Yeah.
Washington Commanders.
Commander. Isn't that a disc? Commander.
Yeah. Yes.
I was really,
Who makes that?
Commanders a disc, right?
what?
Yeah.
The Commander?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely
who
is.
makes
I
it?
threw it. Innova used to. Was
That's
it a
what I thought.
Heiserbomb? Or was it
I
Innova?
think so.
It was a
I think
Heiserbomb
so.
disc. Yeah, it was like
I
this.
don't even know
It
what
was
you're
a
talking
it was a massive bead on it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta look
What?
this thing up. I threw it. I hated it. I'm looking it up.
What?
Commander disc golf. Yeah, right. Innova made it. The Innova Commander.
Oh, no, it's a mid, right?
5304. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that because you could only get it in a factory store, and it was like a gator.
Yeah, but it had
Faster.
like a weirder rim and a bigger bead.
Oh
Why do
my
I
gosh,
remember
I almost
that?
bought that at a time. I remember the stamp
I don't know
had
how I
stars
got
on
it. I might have bought it. It was kind of a cool stamp. I definitely have it
Yeah.
somewhere in my closet. I'll find it.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Next up, Discmania.
Discmania.
I would say. I think I will say winner just because I think their plastic is still gonna get a lot of traction right now.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna not so yeah just because of that, and somehow they've kept Eagle and Simon.
Yeah, they're winners because they kept Eagle and Simon, and that's really their entire brand is dependent on those 2 players. I don't want to say their entire brand. Their entire like pro influence is essentially dependent on those 2. As long as they have them, they're good. So that's a huge win that they were somehow able to retain.
Well, neither of
Eagle.
their contracts were up this offseason.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Disc golf.
when is like Simon's? Isn't he signed to like 2048 or something?
I have no idea. No.
I know,
Oh.
but he signed for like 5 years a while back, and we were all like, huh.
Maybe, yeah. I put them as neutral because they lost Gavin Rathbun, But then I said
That is a loss.
it's going to be hard to ever mark their season as a loss as long as they keep Eagle and Simon.
Yeah, I think considering the adversity they were going through with having to like reinvent, whoa, not to make a pun there,
Reinvent
but
the game.
but to have to reinvent their game essentially and change up how they're doing their discs and whatnot. Now, I'm not in the deep space of the Discmania collector groups. If I had to guess, I bet they're all in there bashing the mess out of the new plastic because it's very obviously trilogy stuff. I don't know. Are you in there at all?
I'm in some of them. I haven't seen too much. I see a lot of Discmania fanboys calling whenever I post about the new S-Line FD, the Dark Rebel. I always get Discmania fanboys saying it's just trash Innova. So I think they've turned on Innova. I think they're all diehard. I think it's backwards.
That would be huge if Discmania was able to like turn them all on Innova and just they're so loyal to Discmania that they're like, yeah, we're down with the trilogy stuff. Whatever Discmania is making, we'll support it. You know, that's impressive.
I think I probably could have been like that.
That would be an even bigger win.
I could have until I felt the S-Line FD that Innova made again.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I can't lie,
here
man.
it is.
Once I tossed that thing, I was like, oh man, we got ourselves a disc.
Yeah, so that kind of brought me back.
I'll still give him a win though. We'll see.
I say win. Yeah.
All right, Discraft.
Neutral.
Really?
I think. Well, I don't think that they did.
Do I need to remind you they picked up Chris Dickerson?
That's what. That's okay. That's what I need. I needed that reminder. Winner.
Okay.
Winner.
Okay.
That's what I couldn't. I was like, what did Discraft do? I forgot.
I'm gonna go ahead and say neutral because
Interesting.
Such a stupid
I would
take.
pay
Just kidding.
$1,000 a day to get a look like that from you. That was just
Deal.
such a funny. That was so funny.
You got yourself a deal.
I would say neutral because while yes, if you just look at it like X's and O's, like yeah, okay, we got Dickerson, we just added to the super team, but that we've talked about it before, like where's that? You got like your graph of influence, right? And the line moves a ton with certain players, but then once you get to a certain point, like you've gotten Paul, you've gotten Page, that line moves less and less at a steep angle when you sign even guys like Dickerson because you can only have so much influence. Like we already know the top pros like to throw Discraft. You know, you don't have to hammer that point home. It's like putting 3 nails in the same coffin, essentially. I don't know. I think that it can't be bad for them. That's why I'm going to give them neutral. Well, it could be bad financially. I don't know what that's all about. But like at this point, I think we're just going to have to hop off the financial train until something happens because we have no clue what the heck is going on. So even just from like an influence, like we know it had to cost them some like a good bit though, and I don't know how much that's worth it to add a player who yes is very talented, but I don't know how much he's actually going to do for the Discraft brand because I don't know how many guys throw or Prodigy. That's the thing. It'd be one thing if he was at the time throwing a company that people were very like if he was throwing, let's just say he was with Innova and he was throwing Innova and like we knew that like, oh yeah, guys throw Innova because Dickerson throws it. People love Dickerson and then he switches. I think those are almost the type of players companies have to start going for. Is guys that you know people are throwing their bag because they love that player and they promote their bag so well. Because like I don't think Dickerson to me didn't seem like the guy that people were like, oh yeah, man, I've got these H3V2s in my bag because Dickerson.
There's a lot of that in Tennessee, and that's clearly because of Dickerson.
It's regional. Yeah, Prodigy's regional.
That's what I was going to say. I'm
sure people will switch over a little bit, but I just don't know if. I don't know how much of a punch that packs.
What about when you pair that with locking in Hammers for another 3 years though?
Well, but then you got to also pair that with losing Haley King
and Cole Redlin,
and Cole Redlin, and Haley King in particular, I think is, I mean, she's top 10 probably for as long as she plays disc golf. I think she's athletic enough and talented enough that she's probably going to be top 10, top 5 type player for like her entire career. So I think I think that's a pretty significant loss. I don't think they wanted to lose her, and I still am confused about how that all went down. But I think if you throw that in there, yeah, the Hammonds re-sign was a big deal, but I don't think it was I don't think it was like, oh wow, they were able to sign Hammonds. I think he's a homer. I think he wanted to re-sign for them, so I don't think he made it difficult. Yeah, I'm gonna give him neutral.
All right.
I think it's overall a win because I just think about whenever Paul was with Innova, I didn't throw anything but Innova, and then he moved to Discraft, and I finally started throwing some Discraft stuff and opened my eyes to a whole new world of discs. And I'm just really excited I think Discraft's going to make a lot more money this year because all the extreme Chris Dickerson fans, their eyes are going to be open, and they're going to be able to spend way more money on discs because they're not going to be spending as much money on Band-Aids from throwing their FX2s.
Wow.
Leave it to Connor, man. First the MVP take on Twitter, and now you got this Prodigy one going.
That's
not messed up, man.
That is not a hard take.
That's ridiculous, dude. That's
a pretty
messed up.
soft take right there.
That is messed up.
I will say
They're fixing that. Thank you.
Being a Prodigy enthusiast is tough because it's so hard to get your hands on the stuff that the pros throw, like you mentioned earlier. So, like, if let's say you're a Dickerson,
they can get their hands off of it. They just can't get their hands. Dang it, I messed that up. I was
Yeah.
gonna say they can get their hands on it. They just can't get their hands off of it.
Why don't you just produce the show right now, okay? You're getting yourself in too much trouble.
It's just like if you are a think about this. It's actually interesting. If you're a Prodigy fan and like you love Dickerson and that's why you love Prodigy, and you're like trying to emulate his bag, because I'm sure people do that. I used to try to emulate pros bags. Right now, if you try to emulate Dickerson's bag, where are you going to shop for his discs? Probably not Prodigy.com or a retailer. You're probably going to Facebook.com.
That's true.
And that doesn't give Prodigy any money. So
Well,
That's a good point.
not at first though. You have to be really deep studying someone's bag to realize that it's the run that you're trying to find.
They say it pretty blatantly.
I haven't watched many Prodigy in the bags in a while, but last time I did, it was guys saying they literally tell you straight to your face, like, yeah, you have to get these are super rare. Like you could get these in 2011 when they can't. Like they're pretty candid about it. So I don't know if it takes. I'm just curious to know. Like now you come over to Discraft and you start throwing essentially like it's all pretty much stock stuff. Like you don't really see like there's nobody in Discraft really throwing like, yeah, this is my Ledgestone Raptor that nothing really flies like it. You see a little bit of stuff like that, but not a lot. So I wonder like. If converting him to Discraft makes that fan base, if they want to emulate his bag, it's a lot easier now.
Maybe.
Think about that.
All right. Dynamic discs, easiest answer.
Win. Huge landslide win.
Trevor?
L. I'm just kidding.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right.
It's a win. They count as a win. Here's the thing I'm going to say about the dynamic thing, because I'll save your breath. Because on
save
the
it
rest
for me,
of these,
please.
No, on the rest of that sounded aggressive. I'm just saying on the rest of the trilogy, Dynamics off season makes the rest of trilogy an automatic win.
Yeah.
Automatic.
Latitude and Westside.
Definitely.
Right, because he's going to be throwing stuff from all three companies. We already know this, and like they're all like somewhat intertwined. So just being signed to one of those three companies. Then it's an automatic win for all three of them.
All right, next one down the list. Actually, I had to put this on just because I thought that they were a winner, even though they're not a manufacturer, in Infinite Discs. Well, I guess they technically are a manufacturer now because they do have their own line.
Yeah, manufacturer.
So Infinite, I mean, they picked up Drew, Eric Oakley, and Cole Redlin this offseason were their big three.
Infinite, man. I wonder what their end game is. That's where I get confused.
That's where I get confused.
I can't tell if they're a win or lose because their business model confuses me so much.
If they're literally they're kind of just like, yeah, we're making discs here and there because we can. Like we don't really see ourselves being a manufacturer. And like if they're just signing players just to sign them, like for PR, I don't know how much of a win it is. It's a win. It's a win.
Yeah, I have heard. Go for it.
I was just saying, like, if their end game is to literally, like, eventually just become a manufacturer, which I mean, Dynamic did it, maybe this whole time they've been trying to do what Dynamic did. But man, if you're having Innova make your discs, you're walking down that road. We saw how that worked out for a certain company. So
yeah,
that's the luck.
Well, I have heard that they can sponsor Innova players, or they have to sponsor their own. Like Cole Redlin, I don't think could have been on Team Discraft and Team Infinite, because Discraft and Infinite to a certain degree are competitors when it comes to the manufacturing. Innova let players like Kona was on both because they're making the disc, kind of like old school Discmania. So I think that's kind of, I don't know. I'm with you. I think that it's just going to be interesting if anyone ever calls them on it. Like if a Discraft picked up the phone and is like, hey, you got to either stop being a manufacturer or we're not sending you our discs. Like what decision they make.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, they're at a crossroads. At some point, it's going to hit where they have to split either a manufacturer or a retailer.
Man, unless they really love the manufacturer game more than the retailer game, like I would have to bet that right now, at least at this point, right now, if people just went to them and were like, hey, we're not going to if all the manufacturers were like freezing them out, they'd probably just ditch the manufacturing thing. They'd probably be like, hey, can we just sell what we have left? And then, because that's the thing. You know what? They are smart though, because they could have just bought Infinite's a big company. They could have bought their own machine and invested in manufacturing, but where they are at right now, all they have to do is just say, okay, we won't make any more discs. And they don't have any overhead other than their inventory that they already have. And frankly, they could just sell that back to Innova, say, go ahead, throw your own stamp on it. You guys have the molds, and do it that way. Like they've really put themselves in. It's actually genius.
Unless the only thing that would hold them back is if they're in like a manufacturing contract with Innova, where
they have to make a certain amount.
Yeah, there's like a minimum over the next X amount of years.
Yeah, you're right. That would be it. But I'm just saying, like, if that isn't the case, or even if it's a contract that favors them, like that's really smart, because they're just like, yeah, we'll just play this game as long as we want, and then if you tell us to stop, fine, we'll stop. Yeah. And it wouldn't really hurt them on the retailer side at all.
No, it's definitely interesting though. Next company down, we got 3 more. We got Innova next. Should be a pretty easy answer, I think. Well, maybe.
No, I'm gonna stick to it. This game becomes impossible if we try to play the financial game and act like we're all Kevin O'Leary over here, because I don't have a clue what's going on in Innova's bank account, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say, okay, I'll put it both ways, I guess. If we are right and like everybody is overspending a little bit, then they're a huge winner, because they're sitting back, they're waiting it out, they're incredibly genius, and we were wrong the whole time. But if we're just gonna look at this objectively with none of the hypothetical financial situations involved, then obviously they're a loser, because it seems that they don't really care about sponsoring players. It's not important to them, and there was a mass exodus. They lost everybody. So, yeah, in that sense, yes, loser.
I'm just going to say neutral, because we don't know if any of that is helping them or hurting them, like you said, Trevor. So I'm just saying neutral.
I put him as a loser and then put in parentheses maybe. And the sentence that I wrote that I think wraps it up the most is I just can't wrap my mind around how the 2018 exodus would have crippled Innova, and then they would let the same thing happen a few years later. It just makes me wonder if they're sitting back looking at the current state of disc golf, laughing to themselves, knowing none of it's going to last. If it's true,
that's the thing.
If it's true, then maybe Innova's big-brained all the other companies this offseason, and they're the real winners. If not, maybe they're just idiots. Only time will tell.
Yeah, because that's a good way to put it. They've been in this game longer than anybody, so they know what the ups and downs look like. They know what – I mean, they had the disc golfer. They had Ken Climo. So, like, they know what player influence is like. They had Paul McBeth. Like, they've had the most influential players in our game. So, it does seem – and here's why I won't say completely that they're just geniuses, because I have seen enough people in disc golf that are stubborn and will just literally go down on a sinking ship because they don't want to admit they're wrong or pay the players or whatever it might be. Like, I've seen enough of that in disc golf to be like, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
But Innova seems to be a very successful company. They've been around a long time. So yeah, I think we're all just kind of protecting ourselves so that one day when this all hits the fan, we're right either way. that's journalism for you.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. All right, last company, MVP I'm going to skip over because nothing crazy really happened. They were able to pick up Madison
Well,
Walker and
I'd
Stacey
say
Haas. Now that
Connor went
Connor's
after him.
now that
Yeah,
Connor's done what he does, I think
that's gotta hurt.
I think it's gotta be neutral. All right, Prodigy, last one. Winner or loser?
Prodigy, really all they did was they lost Cat and Dickerson. They're huge losers.
Cat Dickerson and Matty O.
And Matty O. Wow, yeah. Wow. Huge. Man, I don't think that got talked about enough, that they just lost huge players. I mean, holy cow.
I
See,
mean,
here's the thing about
they're murder
Prodigy.
victims. They're not losers.
Yeah, that's bad. They're roadkill.
Well, they just put all of their eggs in the Kevin Jones basket.
Yes, they did. And that's funny because last time I checked, Kevin Jones doesn't win that much.
They did
Whatever.
also extend Gannon Burr, which could be big a few years from now.
Yeah, I think that part is important because I do think Gannon Burr, who I thought for about an hour yesterday was about to be the best player of all time when he released that lefty video.
Yeah, speaking of misleading social media.
I was like, when I saw that, obviously, for those of you who didn't see, he posted himself throwing lefty, but then he was mirrored the footage like we're all a bunch of punks. I thought,
what a
second,
15-year-old.
This kid is special. I was like, this kid's special.
Dude, I had a moment that was funny to me. I was like scrolling through social media and I saw like arts and crafts science project on my social media timeline. I'm like, what the heck is this? And it was like a bridge. And then I realized it was Gannon posting his high school project where his bridge held like
dude.
his bridge held like I forget it was like 600 pounds or 500 pounds or something like that.
It was like 270.
No, it was higher. Now we gotta look it up. It was close to 500. I remember because I was like, dang, that's actually really heavy.
Was it?
I'll look it up to make sure.
Okay. Well, anyways, what I was saying, I
470 pounds of bricks.
You're right.
On a popsicle
at
bridge.
At least I had the 70 part.
You did. But it just like was scrolling through and I was like, this guy legitimately might be a top 10 player on tour this year. And here he is in science class making a popsicle stick bridge.
Isn't that crazy though? Like it does take the perfect situation. And that's an interesting thing about disc golf is we are starting to value the like the world titles and things like that. Like we're starting to put value on certain things. But one thing that has not really been accurately assessed as far as value yet in disc golf, mostly because we don't know what it should be valued, is age.
Yeah.
Because Gannon Burr, homeboy is legitimately a top 10 talent this year, potentially. And he's what, 16?
I think he's 17.
Like,
I think he just turned 17. But yeah, in that range.
I think he might be 16, but 17, whatever. It doesn't matter. He, like in any other sport, you got a young guy like that, like he's being locked down big time. Like,
yeah.
Because like he already has the talent. Like I mean, if he wins on tour, like and he proves he has that too, like oh my gosh, like Gannon Burr is legit. I think that if you told me right now, like losing Cat, that one stings. Like if and obviously losing Matty O, but if it had like just been Dickerson for Gannon Burr straight up, and you told me, okay, we're gonna lose Dickerson, but we're gonna free up a ton of money. And we're going to re-sign Gannon for 2 years on less than we had Dickerson for. And we're going to avoid a huge cap hit. I would say massive win.
That's a good point.
Win.
That's a very good point.
You got to think to your future. And I think Dickerson is a type of guy that has reached his ceiling in disc golf. And that ceiling is he could win a world title any given year. I'm not saying that he's not good, but when we're talking about Gannon Burr, we're talking about a future guy. Like this is a guy that's going to be like, Dickerson is the type of guy that might play this sport another 5 years on tour and then just be like, yeah, I'm going to pack it up and go live with my family and play local events. Like, and nothing wrong with that, but like, he seems like that type of guy. So like Gannon Burr, that's a future player right there. Now
that is a very good point.
You stack on top of it Matty O, who's really having a late surgence in his career right now, and then losing your world champ Katrina Allen. That's where it kind of becomes an L for me. But once again, it's kind of like the Innova situation. If Innova's right, then so is Prodigy. Like this whole thing gets flipped on its head if people know more than everybody else. I don't know. I love it. I feel like they need to start documenting all this. You ever heard of that show Succession?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
I don't know anything about it, but all I've heard is that it's just a bunch of business dealings and people in suits in fancy conference rooms, and I just want that to exist for disc golf.
It would be nice to be a fly on the wall and just know if like Dave Dunapace is like the whole situation that led to this year of Innova. Like, are they sitting back like they have all the numbers and they're like, no, I'm sorry, like we're not paying you that because you just aren't worth it. And they're like, all right, I'm gonna go somewhere else and get it. Or if they're just like, no. And like the picture that people paint about Innova is that they just don't give two rips about their players.
Ignorant. People paint that they're ignorant.
Yeah, and that they refuse to pay their players when they need to. And I would just love to know if that's true, or if they're just like geniuses.
That's what I'm saying. Who's sitting in their office right now sweating like, I don't know if we're gonna make it through the year, and who's sitting in their office right now going, we are set. Like, there's got to be a little bit of something on each end, and I want to know which companies are where.
Yeah, I mean, it's thrilling. It's thrilling.
It is thrilling.